What's up? It's your boy Jaicko Lawrence, and right now we're going to be taking a deeper look into my project RizzleMinded, the thought process behind it, what's been going on in my crazy mind. I've been getting a lot of questions about RizzleMinded and the mind behind the word. I mean, Rizzle is not really a word that you hear anywhere. So, fun fact, the nickname that I gave myself was Rizzle. My middle name is Raphael. So I had a lot of friends that really adapted that. And later on in my life, I just began to use it and claim it. Oftentimes on my Instagram, I would post maybe a picture and then attach to it a really deep thought or something that resonated with me, something that provoked a deeper introspection. You would see a regular picture, but then it would come with a thought. I would pull some element out of the picture that would represent something really profound. And I just started to adapt that. So I would hashtag the picture and call it RizzleMinded. So when I began to construct this project, I just felt that it was so fitting that I would call the project that, because every single song, from the production to the writing to the way in which it was constructed, even in the number of tracks, so many things have kind of pointed towards this higher frequency, this higher wisdom. So I call it reasoning empowered by godly wisdom. So that's the meaning of RizzleMinded. So track number 1, Dirty Dishes. There's a saying that people have adapted to over time about having skeletons in your closet, and that being that place of exposure where you allow people or God to kind of see into the real you, or to the things you've been hiding, or things that may be private. Dirty dishes represents that for me. When you walk into a man's house and you see bare dirty dishes, for you it kind of represents the state of that man's life. Or the exposure of it, so that concept was birthed out of that, and I really wanted to set a precedent with this project, because I hadn't released music for myself in about 10 plus years, although I had still been working in music and writing and producing and featured on other artists' projects and stuff like that. I had really never put out a project for myself. Much of that was a lack of trust in the gift God had given me, a lack of belief in my ability to execute what God had given me, and discovering what my sound, all these different things. And when I had finally got to that track, it wasn't the first song on the project, but it was the song that set the precedent. It wasn't the first song that I created, but it was the one song that set the precedent for the entire project, which was, look, guys, all my supporters, all my fans, all of those that consider themselves to be ones that were on my journey before God, I'm saying, here's what had happened, here's what it is, here's what my life had been like and is like, walking this walk of faith. And so I start by saying, Lord, forgive me, because I never kept it real with you. I never kept it real with my people, my supporters. And again, to me, that really sets the tone for the entire project. And everything that I say after here now is the absolute truth. So track number 2, which is Coast. This song happened to be the first song that I recorded, second song in sequence with the EP, but the first song that I wrote that eventually made its way to being a part of this project. I remember being in my studio maybe about 3:00 a.m. and I was just in this place where I started to reflect on life and reflect on my life and the afflictions, the momentary troubles, the things that I'd been facing at that time, even as a believer. And I just really wanted to be honest about that. I had a piano loop, one little piano loop, and a basic drum beat. And even if you were to look into the session, that's all that exists. It's the simplest session. And I just started to spit over the track. And these things began to come out about, I wish all my trouble would go away. Maybe someday that'll be reality. But until then, I'll keep my head up. Until then, I keep stacking my bread up. And again, I think what I really sought to do with that song is for the listener to take an honest look into my life as a Christian. I think for some, there's been this perception that the life of a believer in Christ is, you get saved and then you get saved from all of life's problems. All of a sudden, you end up in this place of heaven on earth and nothing goes wrong. And that's far from the truth. And even when I look at the life of Jesus, I see suffering, but he endured it for a greater glory, for something that he was looking forward to. And much like my life has been and is, but there's a peace, there's a hope to keep pushing and keep fighting and to keep stacking my bread up. Many have asked questions about the stacking of the bread and what it represented. At first listen, it may sound like I just talking about money, but really I was talking about Jesus. He says that he's the bread of life. So I really wanted to, it didn't start like that. It was just something that came out, but I found the meaning to it as I continued the song. So yeah, Coast. So track number 3, Genesis. So with this song, I honestly can't say that I remember the process of making it. It is the shortest song on the entire EP, but I feel like in its briefness, it shows forth all that it should. When I talk about love, love throughout all time, we see the state of the world right now, and it seems as though all systems are failing. The economy is failing our ability in understanding the things that happen, and it feels like we're losing our footing in life. But there's one theme that remains, and that's love. Not just a love, but love personified, which is Christ. I don't say it in the song, but again, that was really the heart and the message behind the song. A few different plays on words to kind of paint that picture. At the end of the song, I say, I just had my revelation of Genesis. Obviously, we know that Genesis is the first book in the Bible, Revelation is the last. And throughout the Bible, reading it with a sense of, to gain understanding, you recognize that the theme throughout the Bible is love. And I believe the love that is being spoken about in the Bible is Jesus from beginning to end. It seeks to reveal Christ. Track number 4, Prayer Journal. Much like all of the other songs, I did not, so fun fact, I don't plan any of my songs. Like I don't come and say, yeah, today I need to write a song about prayer. Tomorrow I need to write a song about my future girlfriend, my future wife. I just usually start by creating a beat, and then I would just flow depending on how it feels. So with the other songs and with all of the songs on this project, I would just open my mic and start spitting. Maybe having different melodies. So I first created the track. Shameless plug, I did produce and write completely all of the songs on the project. And this was one that was a lot of fun because I just really, the feel of the record, it kind of carries this contemporary R&B feel, with the 808s and, the very nostalgic sounds. But then when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about prayer. I'm talking about my life in prayer. And I thought that was quite interesting because I'm not sure at that time I was there, but perhaps in a time before that led to me putting it in the song then, But the song just simply highlights my life of prayer. Me highlighting prayers as one of the most important factors of the life of a believer, the life of somebody who is seeking more of God, seeking Jesus. And yeah, that's it. Simple as that. So track number 5, Future. The heart behind this song really was to express love in a relationship from a godly perspective, or from the perspective that has now influenced me. I grew up in a household where my mom and my dad were separated. Both my mom and my dad were loving, and as loving as they possibly could. But I didn't grow up in a house where my mom and my dad were married. And that is one of the statistics that we see in society today. Many children grow up in households without their mom and dad. Divorce is at an all-time high, and I really just wanted to make a song, one, that was fun, but two, that showed some truth in marriage. I believe that marriage still lives in Jesus, but taking away the element of seriousness in marriage, again, the song is like over really fun, mid-up-tempo track with the 808s and stuff like that, but it really talks about the way I desire, what I'm looking for in a marriage, not even my demands of a woman, but just how I view this institution, and how I desire to view my wife, or how I desire to view my girlfriend. I want her to know that I, will really be praying for her, that I desire to die for her. Well, not like physically die, but like die to my flesh and die to my emotions, and to serve her and to revere her as the woman that God has given me. So throughout the song, I show that. And again, the way I talk about it is even much more serious than it's crafted in the song, But yeah, Future. Track number 6, which is Headlights. I find it so funny, again, how I never come to my desk or come into the studio thinking, today I'm going to write a song about this. But for some reason, the way this entire project was crafted, it kind of just formed itself. And again, that's why it had to be RizzleMinded. It had to be a stream of consciousness, some form of godly wisdom that came from another source, which I say is the Holy Spirit, So Headlights, again, kind of when we get to this point in the project, we begin to sum up the entire thing, where I address my salvation in a very purposeful way. The beginning of the song says, I didn't even recognize that I was drowning. I could have lost my life, but you never let me go. I recognize that I'm in need of a savior. I recognize that I'm in need of someone outside of the things that I've been already, dabbling in to find my way out of this dark place. And then when I finally come to the light, I recognize, wait a minute, why is it that you see me so valuable? What is it about me? I know you're no respecter of persons, but the least I can do is figure out why, or to learn about my purpose. So the song really just talks about this discovery, being in a dark place, like a deer crossing the road, going about its own business, and then all of a sudden a car crosses the road, and it's like, all the driver sees is this deer, the speckle in the eye of the deer, and you as the deer, you see these bright lights coming towards you, and it like hits you, and it just takes you out of your situation. So yeah, that's Headlights. So the last and final song, number 7, Everybody Loves Raymond, critically acclaimed. This song is the one song that a lot of people have made comments, man, you made me confront some things that I didn't even know exist, So, the TV shows that I'm sure most of us are familiar with, Everybody Loves Raymond, Everybody Hates Chris. In watching them, I see 2 different characters. One character who is, in his best ability, which is Chris, trying to be the best person that he can. Always ridiculed by his parents, always seen, always misperceived, always misunderstood. The person that most of us would never want to be shown, the person that is the least loved, the least accepted, but yet there's a person inside of that person that is crying out for some sort of acceptance. And Raymond, in my eyes, was the man that was, he was popular, he was loved, the butt of jokes, but still someone that was comical and someone that everyone liked. And I feel like all of us have those 2 people living on the inside of us. At least we separate them, we make them 2 different people, and we decide that we want to show the Raymond, which is the one acceptance, the person that's always loved, perfection in the eyes of the people. We want people to see this, but the Chris, we don't want people to see, because that person is flawed, that person has things that they need to deal with. And what the song, it addresses that in order to show. It started with me showing myself in the mirror, dealing with my lack of wanting to be vulnerable, wanting to be seen. So beginning of the song talks about taking off the veil so I can see your eyes. They say that the eyes are the window to the soul. You know, when you look in a man's eyes, you know, most probably without knowing it, you can connect with a deeper, you know, sense of who this person is. So the song just really seeks to highlight that and to show that we have these two people that we wrestle with. And if we would just see ourselves in the image of God, that we would no longer see ourselves as divided, but we would truly be able to embrace the good with the bad, but ultimately being pushed towards being the perfection that we already are in the eyes of Christ. Man, I am incredibly proud of this project. And again, one of the reasons I feel I can boast about it is because it was done by grace. So I don't feel like I was in the driver's seat of this project. You know, if you know the prayer, if you know the tears, you know, if you know the place, the things that I had to overcome to get to this, there's no way I can say that, you know, I did this on my own without those who have prayed for me and those who were able to see me in the light that I should be seen when I did it. And I believe that 100% this project is handcrafted by the Lord Himself, and He just used me as a vessel to deliver it. And again, that's why I can boast about it, because I believe it was something that was totally inspired by the grace of God. Again, I really can't take it to my own credit, you know. So again, thank you everybody for your support. Thank you to those that have believed in me from, you know, when I started this journey of music. And I just want to encourage you, if you saw this and, you know, it resonates with you in any way, I encourage you to go get the album, go support it on all streaming platforms, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever it is you stream music, I'm available. And continue to support the movement. Go follow me on Instagram, Google me, whatever you need to do, and support. Really appreciate it.